FIFA will earn close to $13 billion over this 4-year cycle. Of that, $8.9 billion comes directly from the 2026 World Cup. FIFA's original budget for the 2023-26 commercial cycle projected revenue of $11 billion, already a significant increase over the previous cycle. More recent estimates place total revenue closer to $13 billion, with about $8.9 billion expected to come directly from the 2026 World Cup. Meanwhile, the city of Toronto alone is on the hook for roughly $380 million in hosting costs. In Canada, Toronto's cost estimates rose from tens of millions to roughly $380 million. FIFA does not pay that bill. So here's the question worth holding on to for the next 6 minutes. How does an organization generate $13 billion, while the cities that make the event possible absorb the costs themselves? Picture a landlord who owns nothing. No stadiums, no hotels, no transit systems. FIFA owns none of the physical infrastructure of a World Cup, yet it captures the central revenue from it. The breakdown is almost mechanical. Broadcasting rights, global sponsorships, ticketing, and hospitality. FIFA has announced record $3.92 billion from TV rights sales relating to only FIFA World Cup 2026. A total of $1.78 billion is expected from marketing and commercial rights, which include deals with Adidas, Coca-Cola, Visa, and several other brands worldwide. Disney, Fox, Adidas, Coca-Cola, Visa, they pay FIFA directly for access to an audience that will gather somewhere else. Now follow the costs. Host cities and governments are the ones who pay for security, transport, stadium preparation, fan zones, and logistics. The cost burden is more complicated. FIFA captures much of the central revenue, while host cities and governments often bear costs linked to security, transport, stadium preparation, fan zones, public services, emergency planning, and local logistics. Money flows up. Costs flow down. This wasn't an accident. This was a choice. The question is, who made it? Now here's where it gets colder. This isn't just an organization that happens to make a profit. It's an organization that is built to bank one. By the end of 2025, FIFA's financial reserves had declined from $3.9 billion after the Qatar World Cup, down to $2.7 billion. That sounds like a decline. It isn't. FIFA traditionally operates with a target surplus across each cycle. FIFA traditionally operates with a target surplus across each cycle, aiming to maintain long-term financial stability while supporting football development programs worldwide. In 2025 alone, a year with no Men's World Cup, FIFA still generated $2.66 billion in revenue, and its total assets rose to $9.48 billion, up 54% from the year before. In television broadcasting rights, accounting for a large portion, followed by marketing rights. Think of it like a casino. The house doesn't need every table to win every night. It just needs the structure to guarantee that, over time, the house always comes out ahead. FIFA's reserves dip and refill cycle after cycle, but they never disappear. They're designed not to. Now zoom into the part nobody puts on a highlight reel. Canada's total government support for hosting is estimated at $1.066 billion Canadian dollars across federal, provincial, and municipal budgets. In Canada, the Parliamentary Budget Officer estimates total government support for hosting at $1.066 billion Canadian dollars, including $473 million Canadian dollars from the federal government and $593 million Canadian dollars from other levels of government. Spread across the 13 games Canada is hosting, that works out to roughly $82 million per match. Toronto's own number tells the same story in miniature. Its hosting costs climbed from an initial estimate of around $90 million to roughly $380 million. That's 6 matches for one city. Nobody reports on this. Not because it's hidden, because it's obvious once you know where to look. Here's the uncomfortable part. This wasn't always how the World Cup worked. The economics of FIFA and the World Cup have changed substantially over the last 20 to 30 years. What was true in 1990, or even 2000, simply isn't true anymore. The shift didn't happen by accident. It happened through decades of negotiation, from a position of leverage. Countries don't just bid to host the World Cup. They compete for the privilege. And when dozens of governments are competing for something, the seller doesn't need to absorb risk. The buyers do. FIFA gets guaranteed revenue, locked in years in advance, through broadcasting and sponsorship contracts. Host countries get the stadiums, the security bills, and the infrastructure. and they get to call it an investment. $13 billion in revenue, $2.7 billion in reserves, even after a decline, and $380 million is just one city's invoice. The system isn't broken. It was never meant to be fair. It was built to make sure someone else pays for the party FIFA gets to sell tickets to.